Hello, hello. We are live. Hello,
Hello.
John. Hello, Carpenter Self-Reliance. Hello, Tracy. This one is for you. I just watched your fishing video. That was a nice trout. Too bad you couldn't keep that salmon, though. That looked like a
Good evening.
good eating.
Yeah, I've
Hello.
heard that at this time of year, because they're coming back from the river, they're not as good. They're like mushy and they have a weird taste.
Really?
I wouldn't want to try them anyway.
Salmon or trout?
Salmon.
Hmm. I learned another thing today. Hello, Jill. Magistra 666. Welcome. This is the first time I see you here. Come say hi. Tell us where you're from.
It's not a question for me, right?
No. I'm talking to the people in the chat because there's 6 people with us.
Awesome.
What
Mama
is the
homemade?
first name of Carpenter Self-Reliance? I keep forgetting.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I don't know why I have Nicholas in my head. I'm probably wrong. Please tell us your name if you hear this.
Magistral 666 is Joanie.
Annie. Hello, Joanie. Hello, Annie. So, homesteading with kids. It's a delicate subject and an interesting subject at the same time.
Yeah, I think it depends on what kind of kids you have, I guess.
True. And how many you have and the age that they have.
Yeah, and how interested they are.
True. And I would say depends when they started being introduced to homesteading. I find that little boys tend to be more interested because they are tractors and toys and many things for the boys to play with. We lost you there. Your phone cut. I mean, your microphone cut.
I put it on mute sometimes.
Oh, okay. Hello, Lynn. I have to get cleaned up from being in the garden, but I will be back. No worries. Did you burn today? I did. I burned yesterday and today. I don't know.
We finally have spring.
Wait. I don't know if you can see, but
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and I put like so much rose water on it, and it's still it's gonna hurt probably tomorrow. I'm gonna put a lot of aloes and rose water on this for the next couple of
I
days.
bet it was all worth it.
Well, I'm gonna have the raccoon tan soon, like really soon, because I'm supposed to transplant all my cauliflowers, all my broccolis, all my cabbages, celery, and onions this week.
Wow.
Before the conference.
I was at the beach. I was gone fishing clams, and I broke my shovel. So while I was waiting for my friend, I decided just to go sit down on the shore, and the sun was out. Like for the first time this year, I was just able to sit there and enjoy the nice weather. I think I laid down and just like, oh my god, it was so good. Just like that there.
Yeah. Well, we had yesterday that was nice, and today. But before that, it was, I'm going to say like, nothing interesting. It was cold. Wednesday and Thursday was really, really cold. We had -5, -7 over the night with windshield. So today was good. Today and yesterday was really good. Amazing. Got to sink in so much sun. Hello, Michael. Mama Homemade says, we just came from outside. I'm really tired, but my kids are not. I wonder why. The Energizer Bunny. And they going and going and going. So for people that does not know you, since there are a couple of new faces here, can you present yourself? Let my viewers know who you are.
I'm Remi Arsenault from northern New Brunswick, and I live with 5 kids. I started homesteading maybe, I'd like to say 2 years ago, even though I had a garden and a couple of chickens for a while. But I am fully invested in growing my own food, I mean, for the last 2 years. Then,
Especially with Shed Wars.
yeah, I'm in Shed Wars this year. It, it's kind of tough because I see all those people in the South, like in Florida and California, and they're growing stuff already. And I'm still here. Like I was finally able to see my garden today. But I had planted some carrots last year, left them in the garden for like on purpose for the spring. And like with 6 carrots I had, about 4 of them were about the size of my thumb. And the other two, all the 6 together, were about a pound of carrots. So
Nice.
it's pretty good. Pretty good. It's a lunch.
It's a nice
Uh,
side dish with
yep.
the dinner.
Yep.
Hello, Tammy. Well, we get discouraged because down south they're already planting their tomatoes right now. 6B, 7B, 8B, or all of those already planted all of their gardens. But in July, they have to put like some sort of cover on top of their garden because it gets like
Too warm.
too warm and it kills. It kills everything.
Mhm.
So in Texas, some people actually will grow tomatoes until they die, and then they wait a couple of weeks, and then they have a second sowing of tomatoes. So that means more maintenance, more plants. So yes, they are lucky right now, but they're going to reach like 40, 50
Huh.
degrees
We're
Celsius.
gonna catch up. We're gonna catch up.
Yeah. And with row covers, you can extend 1 month in the beginning and 1 month after with cold hardy crops.
Not that much.
And a 4-pound cabbage adds up quite fast.
I have a couple in the bedroom started.
Cabbages?
Yeah, they're just like that big.
They're
I
so
don't have
fast.
I don't have access to my soil outside.
I know. I technically am able to transplant all my cold hardy crop now,
Okay.
but I'm not ready.
Well, I'm gonna plant lettuce, radishes, spinach, kale. That's gonna go in the garden as soon as I can work the soil.
Yeah,
Um,
that's something I have to do this week. I have to sow all my carrots and I sowed my radishes, but carrots have to go this week. If I can find time between everything I have to do.
yeah,
Uh,
busy
I,
time of year.
I'm not sure if Carpenter Self Reliance heard my question earlier. I would like to know your name. I try to remember names. I try. Who here homesteads with young kids or teens? We're 11, so we should have a couple.
I know Mama Homemade does.
Yeah.
I think Jerry. Okay, Carpenter Self Reliance is Jerry.
I was so far saying Nicholas. Oops. So sorry. I don't know why I had Nicholas in my head.
Jerry.
And Jill says, absolutely, I am a wannabe homesteader. There's no such thing as wannabes homesteaders. You can be a homesteader with a apartment and a small balcony. So there's no wannabes. So he says he has a 4.5-year-old and a 16-year-old. Annie, how old are your kids again? I know your youngest is 3, but you have like 6 kids. So they probably, 6 kids, 13 till 3. Oof, so teens and the wonderful 4 coming. That's the age I find the hardest. 4 to 5 is the hardest.
They're starting to understand what's going on. They want to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know they're probably going to hate school yet.
Well, my daughter loves school for now.
Yeah, good.
My
Some of them do.
my middle son, but my youngest, because it's only like Play-Doh and fun things, he loves going to school. But I'm sure once he reached first grade, when he has to learn all the ABCs and the numbers and the +1, -1, +2, and all that lovely stuff, we shall see. We shall see. He just turned 5. So, what are your age gap of your kids again?
My youngest is 8 years old. He's going to turn 9 in the summer, and the oldest is going to turn 18 in about 2 months.
Holy, an 18-year-old. That makes you younger, right?
Still so young.
Yep. So mine are from 5, and my oldest will be 10 in a couple of months. A big
Good
10. They started being introduced to homesteading. This is my 5th gardening season that I'm starting, so they have the same experiences that I do. But I did grow a small, like 6 tomatoes and 2 cucumber plants at my previous house. But they were more interested in stepping on the plants than actually taking care of them. So I would say at least 5 years. Oh, we have Ren in the house.
Jack and Lindsay.
4.5-year-old girl is autistic, we recently realized. Is she really in her bubble, or it's something light?
Brings in different challenge. Like we were talking about, how different kids can have different.
Well, autistic, okay, you can have like the chronic ones where they need like specialty stuff, but if it's light, they're just a little bit different than normal. I don't like saying this, but normal kids, they just have a little bit more needs. And once those are adopted, they usually don't like to socialize. And once they find a passion, they go all in. So it depends. It depends of how severe the autistic is. Joanie has 3 kids. 4, 8, and 11 years old, going from 2 to 11 raised beds this year. Nice. Good job. Light cannot get a doctor to diagnose. Everyone too busy to get her in. I hope you can get this sorted out. One daughter is 38, has her own homestead farm. That puts mine to shame. Oh, why do you say that?
38. That's a nice number.
I don't know why.
By the way, like you try to make me look older because I have older kids, but you're actually older than me.
Me?
So people know. Yeah, you're a few months older than me.
Oh God, I'm 2 months older than you.
No, you're a few months.
Few months,
I was
true.
born in October.
Okay, yeah. So a little bit more than that.
Just kidding, anyway.
Yeah, my birthday is in a couple of days, actually. No slot opens for any help. This sucks. I'm actually in the process of a diagnosis myself, and the only way that I can do it with one of my children was with the school. But at this point, I'm not too excited about the process. So I do hope that at the end of this, we can find what's best for my son. I do wish that you find something also for your daughter, because it weighs a lot on parents. Like, not knowing is worse than knowing, I find.
Yeah, because most of the time, if they're diagnosed early enough, they can grow up to have a normal life after. Well, I mean,
normal for them, like a normal, happy.
Like at least 95% normal. Like they can. Like I know some autistic people that go to work. They have their own house. They have their own lives. Like they don't depend on the parents, and they can do their own thing. So it can be done. Like
Ren says we both likely on the spectrum somewhere. Our daughter is not, and that poses an interesting set of challenges. It does. I know that my kids, none of them were interested, like from the start. They moved when we moved here. My oldest was 4, and then Philip was 3, and my son was just born. He was 8 months or 9 months old when we moved. So they were more interested by the neighbors. There was a little girl next door, and there was a set of twins in front of a house, and then more kids on the street. So they were more interested in playing than learning what I had to do.
Yeah, it's often the case.
I started gardening when my oldest was 2, so they've been in it forever. That's amazing. I know that people say the younger they are, the better it is. So I might have better chances with my son, Cedric, the youngest, that's 5, because he's not as much in daycare as the oldest. He was here with me most of the time. So he saw me do all of this, so there might be a chance that he's interested. I do hope so. Hello, Marilyn. What about you? Your kids, are they all? They're participating in Shed Wars, so they must be somewhat interested.
Yeah. The oldest is, she's turning 18. She's in the process of graduating from high school. She's actually done. It's just that the graduation stuff is coming up. She's in an age where she has like the parties with friends and stuff like that. So she doesn't really care about the homesteading life, and that's okay. I mean, you can't have like 100% success with the kids, right?
No, you can't.
Anthony's just turned 14. He loves fishing. He loves hunting. So to me, that's a plus. He also likes foraging. Like I don't know to what extent he'll go foraging on his own, but he likes to come with me. Like we went bird hunting last year, grouse hunting, and like he loved going up in the trees to pick up some apples, wild apples. He came with me whenever I asked him, "Do you want to come and pick up some apples?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, let's go." He came with me for fiddleheads, so that's another plus. Now, I doubt that I'd be able to bring him with me if I go pick like wild strawberries. Hazelnuts, he was fine. Stuff like that. Like there's a little bit in there that he likes to do in nature, but around the house itself, like he doesn't really care about the chickens. He doesn't really care about the rabbits. He doesn't really care about the garden.
Okay, so he's the type that it has to be into the wild. So he's a wild card.
Yeah. So at least like he's helping in other ways. So I'm fine with it. The 3 youngest kids, they all love like being in the nature, hunting, fishing, foraging. If I bring them with me foraging, they'll love it. They'll do at least a little while. They're kids. Like you can't bring them, to pick fiddleheads for like 5 hours straight without expecting them to be bored at some point.
That's fun for you. That fills your freezer.
Yeah, exactly. They'll come. They want to take care of one thing in the garden. They want to learn a little bit. Being in Shed Wars, I involved the kids. John at Willow Grow challenged them to grow something different than what they intended to grow, and I think that they're a little bit like me in terms of being competitive. So they wanted to show that they could do it. They wanted to learn. Like Claudie's actually spent some time online reading about the peppers because that's what John challenged her to do.
She has the lilac pepper, right?
Was it the purple beauty pepper? I think.
Purple beauty, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I did a few peppers with her, and she's gonna do a video shortly. I was hoping to do it this weekend, but we went fishing instead, and I ended up being the one transplanting a few of the biggest pepper plants that we had.
At least we went fishing.
Yeah, it was raining the whole time, of course, but it wasn't that cold, so it's a plus. But when I go, if I tell the kids that I'm going in the garden and that I need their help, they're gonna come. They're gonna come and try to understand what's going on. they're interested a little bit, but not to the point where I can give them a bowl and say, "Hey, you want to go and harvest the peas, or you want to go harvest all the radishes?" They might not do that, but if I bring them with me, I have more chances of having the help. Last year I went to pick up the carrots at the community garden. Claudia was with me, and we picked up all the carrots, um,
But
stuff
now
like
that
that.
they have now that they have a specific plant to grow, they might surprise you because they're going to be excited to go pick those.
Yeah, and I was a soccer coach for a long time, and one of the soccer the coaches told me at some point, we all want to be like Cristiano Ronaldo and be like the biggest soccer superstar, but the kids are not going to get there. They're probably not going to get there. There's like two in a billion that makes it that far. Um, but if you teach them at 4 or 5 years old, and they can put their feet on the soccer ball to stop the ball, that's so easy to do. But then again, at their age, that's amazing. And I kind of approach the gardening the same way. If the kids know that the strawberries like will be ready to harvest early July, late June, to me that's half of the knowledge that they need. Like I'm glad that they know that much. If they know that they have to take a lot more time and care in the tomatoes to grow tomatoes, that's another knowledge that they have, that I'm proud that they can actually have. They're not gonna be. I'm 38. I started learning a little bit more about gardening about 2 3 years ago. Until then, like I had no success growing anything at all, except maybe like carrots and radishes. And even radishes to me was a struggle, and it's pretty simple to grow.
It is.
So for the kids to know already more, they know more than what I knew 3 years ago. To me, that's you know
Well, you've done your job on that part.
yeah, exactly. Like I'm happy with that, and the more they know, the better it is, I guess.
Because there's so much that you can teach them, but at one point, if they enjoy it or curious about it, they have to do their own trial and error so that they can learn. Because even though we tell them everything, even though we teach them everything that we know, at one point the teacher is always surpassed by the student. And
Yeah,
that's what we want, especially with food. If my kid, one of them, can actually surpass me in this with homesteading, I would be super happy.
I see a question there for me, Renz. I
Yeah.
got two trouts in the last few days, 113 and 115 inches. I caught a few. I think they're called chubs. We call them mudsuckers. Those big ugly fish with the mouth that opens like "Ugh," I don't know. They look like alien fish. I hate them. I don't even want to touch them. And we
Mm.
caught two black salmon, and we're not allowed to keep them. So throw them back in the water.
Annie says my grandparents were homesteaders, but I didn't interest me when I was younger until my early 20s. So there's hope. There's hope. There's always hope for sure. Welcome back, Lynn. I'm thinking it's like my mom cooked so much when I was little, and she would never really let us cook on her own when she was around. If she was out or she was doing something and I was hungry, I would cook for myself. But when she would never say, okay, on Tuesday night, Annie, it's your turn, you cook. So I only started experimenting with food when I was on my own. But since my mom was cooking so much as I was little, I became more curious about cooking from scratch and baking from scratch. So I took her recipes, I called her and I said, Mama, I'm making banana bread. Can I have your recipe, please? Instead of searching online. And that's how it got me started baking and cooking my own food. So if our kids can now not be interested, they will probably remember basics, because sometimes I ask my kids to help me and they don't want to. But I tell them, if you want this, like example, they want to go out, I don't know, go picking apples or if my husband's going to the dépanneur and they want those popsicles, those frizzies, I tell them, well, you have to do this for me. So it's a chore that they have to do. They don't like doing it, but they'll probably remember it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And
that's the plan.
that's something I did when like all the schools shut down back in 2020. I think everything happened in April, so it was almost time to put the stuff out. And I told the kids, okay, this year you gotta find two things about that vegetable. You gotta find two things about this one, and you gotta find two things about this one. And like the oldest one were like, why do you want us to do that? I'm like, you're not going to school. I want you to teach something. I want you to at least, like, we're not going to bug you with homework and math and stuff like that, but you're going to select one vegetable that you want to learn stuff about. You're going to tell me at least two different things about that vegetable. And they did it. I mean, the youngest one were a little bit even more surprising than the oldest one because they put more thoughts into it. But to me, it was just a way to show them, like, you're not going to school, but you can still learn. And to me, it was very important for them to learn that stuff.
Yeah, without knowing it, they're reading.
Mm-hmm.
They're reading about a vegetable, and then they're practicing remembering, making a resume. And depending where they are in school, they know that a story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So without knowing it, they're doing math, French, and a lot of, and what do you call it? Économie familiale, home ec?
Sorry, what?
Économie familiale. You know how you learn about food. They don't teach this anymore in school.
No, they don't.
I think it's home ec or home. I forgot the name, but it's basically like you learn about food. I ended up reading every book I could and joined groups and ended up doing his therapy myself. It's true. I think I did the same thing when I started.
Yeah.
And I watched everything I could watch on YouTube, read everything I could read. And for me to actually learn faster, I dropped reading and I watched YouTube videos that was short. So if I was looking something, I had the butts of my tomatoes were black for the first time. I had no idea. So instead of like watching like a 30-minute video of like a vlog of someone talking about it, I was going to MI Gardener right away in like a 5-minute educational video that I could watch one behind the other. There were nights that I would watch 2-3 hours of informative stuff because it was easier for me to watch than to read.
And it's funny how by looking for that one specific thing, like to me, I was just like you. I was trying to find out, like, why can't I grow cucumbers? Why can't I grow radishes? And I ended up on MI Gardener's channel.
So I learned a lot of questions.
So much, yeah, like so many answers. And then I was trying to find how to feed the chickens at a lower cost. And I found one of Justin Rose's videos.
It was specific to the point.
Yeah, and like I literally fell in love with the way of living, like the way they were living. Like Luke is not really homesteading with like animals, chickens, and rabbits and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure he grows probably 100% of his vegetables and fruits. Like it's.
I don't know. I know he has a garden at his cottage. He has a garden at home. And last year, I missed the reveal, but he was experimenting to have like a high tunnel. Like he was buying land or something to have a high tunnel. So he probably grows a lot of his food, if not all of it.
I don't know if he does it for food or for the seeds, since he has a seeds company.
Well, what he shows us is to teach us, obviously. He shares his passion, and without knowing it, he transformed his passion into his day job. Mm-hmm. And now he has all these questions, and every time he has questions, he just makes a video about it. So he doesn't need to really search for content anymore. He receives questions from his viewers, and he just creates a video or a follow-up video.
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna have a lot of answers for us for sure. Ren wants to know: are you going to smoke the trout?
No, usually, well, I'm gonna do that with mackerel if I can catch some. Trout, I don't know. I prefer them on a barbecue. So right now they are cleaned up and frozen in. They're vacuum sealed in a freezer, and if I can get enough for a decent meal, keep in mind that I have 5 kids, so 2 trouts is not enough. I'm hoping to get at least 2 more about that size for a decent meal for the whole family, and I'm gonna cook them on the barbecue.
My kids enjoy fish. Like I can, if I buy salmon or how do you say this? Truite salmonée. I forgot the name in English.
Trout.
It's trout. It's a type of trout. Like a big filet of 1 pound. They could probably eat 3. It's and I just like salt, pepper, olive oil, a bit of like herbs, and that's it. They devour it. Like there are some kids that don't even want to eat fish.
And like that's it. Like we go bass fishing in the summer. The kids love it. I bring them to the beach. They can swim. They can play. They can make sandcastle. They can like we make a little fire and we relax. We have a few lines in the water, and I just found out that we're allowed to have, I think it's 3 or 4 lines in the water each.
Really?
Yeah, for striped bass, yes. So I'm used to have like one per kid and one for me. I'm gonna have to go buy some more fishing gear.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, it depends.
is it per head or per permit? I'm guessing it doesn't matter if it's an adult or a kid.
It's seawater. There's no need for a permit, no license
You're
for
serious?
striped bass. Yeah, anyone can come here. Like you could, I know in Quebec you can fish striped bass as well. Like in the Gaspésie area, they do.
Okay.
But difference, you cannot have live bait. Here we can take mackerel pieces,
Hmm.
smelt or herring. We put it on our hook. We can throw it in the water and we wait.
Here we have to have a permit to fish. I don't know if we have to have a permit for seawater.
I don't think so. Usually
I don't
mackerel,
know.
striped bass, you don't
I
need a
don't know.
license.
Well, I bought a permit. I went fishing. I did not have kids, but it was in a lake. And if you're caught here on a lake without a fishing license, it can get salty. I
Yeah.
don't know why, but it can get salty. Lynn says, I know my daughter will not continue. She hates getting dirty.
She's still young. She's still
She's still
young.
young. Well, I think she's a teen, if my memory is correct.
Yeah. I mean, I'm young.
We're all young in the heart. I finally got her in speech. I think he's talking about his daughter. Speech therapy? Is that what he's talking about? I think so.
Makes sense.
That it will help you probably like 100 times over, because a kid that cannot be understood probably creates a lot of frustration. Now it's my turn to cough. My daughter helps with the preserving, but she hates bugs and dirt. Our son, who is 15, does more outside. Like right now, he is helping my husband cut up the trees we cut down today. Well, to each their own. If she likes to preserve later on, she might surprise you and go to the farmer's market and buy in bulk and preserve it for herself. And homesteading is not about having land and gardening. It's about preserving your own food, regardless where that food comes from. It's obviously a little bit cheaper if you grow it yourself. Hello, Sharon. Takes teamwork to make the dream work. That's a quote for a shirt. Everyone has to help to make a home and a household work. That
Mhm.
As a mom, I cannot agree more. See, that's what I was talking about. Home economic.
Home
That's
economics.
what they removed in school. When I was in secondary 2, it was the first year that they removed it.
Oh,
So we were learning how to sew, how to make a budget, how to budget and like hold a house, like the what is required to hold a house, so the expenses, how to manage a budget, credit, and stuff like that. And we would learn how to I can't remember, it was like 4 subjects. So sewing, knitting, crocheting with sewing, and there was all these different tools, life tools that were important in life, and they changed it to something else.
like this is stuff that's so important, and yet they remove it from schools. Like, I'll never understand why they do that. Like, my son comes home, he's like, when am I ever gonna need to know how to calculate the angle of a triangle? Like, never, unless you're actually working, in a specific job. But the life skills is something that you need every day.
Yeah. Well, okay, crocheting,
Maybe not
sewing,
as much, but
knitting. Okay. I started doing it, I was in my late 20s. Um I think it's more therapeutic, and it's fun to have like the end product. It's fun to know how to fix your clothes because you don't need to throw it out. You can just sew it. So it's useful to it's I would say it's knitting and crocheting. I would probably put it like an art class, but sewing and knowing how to fix things that can be fixed instead of throwing out, or creating shorts with pants that are ripped. Those are those are things that we should have learned. And I was super, super mad that they removed it.
yeah.
I hated the class that they put something that was more oriented for men. We were working wood, and those machines like to make tools. So I would say like it was interesting for the men part, and the girls that had interest and passion in working the wood, but I didn't. I would have preferred having the other class, but the kids didn't enjoy home economics in my time, so they removed it. Anyways, I'm sorry, Lynn. I didn't even catch this, so I'm not sure what you were referencing to, but don't worry. Dave says you have a nice haircut. At least you don't have to fight with the broom. The broom. Oh my god, the comb in the morning.
Nope. Well, I'm losing
YouTube.
my hair anyway.
I'm sorry.
I'm losing my hair anyway in the middle here. I'm half bald.
Oh
It's not a
no.
big deal.
You should have. I'm actually going to do something this summer. It's with rosemary. It's a spray that it's a conditioner, but it doesn't matter. It's supposed to encourage hair growth.
Oh.
So I can send you the recipe. If you're going to have hair here for a little while. Oh, it's okay. I started having white hair like here. I'm trying to hide it. So anyways.
You started? I've had like white hair for like forever.
Yeah. Well, I guess I've like with the last 2 years took a toll on me, like a severe toll on me. So I think the stress came out with the hair. YouTube University. Oh, I think we have an echo. Is it you?
Yeah.
Okay. YouTube University has been a game changer, still one of my go-to research options. Seems that a lot of topics are more taboo now and starting to disappear, like butchering. Butchering, I watched all my videos 4 or 5 years ago. But I know that it's a sensible subject, and the reason why the channels are not doing it anymore is if they get flagged, it hurts your analytics and it hurts you on so many levels. So that's why a lot of big YouTubers came with like this private insiders club that you have to pay for every month, and they put like all their butchering and all those sensitive subjects there. So I think there's like Patreon, Justin Rowe does the Abundance Plus and has so many other YouTubers with him there. It's because they were getting slapped on in the face continuously. So once YouTube is an income for you, you have to pick your battles, which I find sad
Yeah,
because
because it's part of life.
butchering is okay. I know I could keep saying this. If there's vegans watching this, I'm super sorry. But if you're closer to your food, you're cutting down the cruelty by like almost 100%. It's the act of butchering that you can maybe say that it is, but if you're doing it like the Indians or all the people that hunts, they don't raise animal, they hunt. They bless the animal before killing it, and then the kill, they thank the animal for a sacrifice for feeding the village, the family, or the community, and it feeds them. So by raising your own food, you're cutting down all those bad things. But the vegans, they love to, sometimes the extremists love to do this to us, sadly. Like I read so many troll comments on I can't remember which channel. It's either Justin Rhodes or Living Tradition Homestead. There were so much like mean comments. So I'm happy that I watched all my butchering videos
Before it happened.
before all the darkness came, because now a lot of people are now raising their own food and all their own animals. I would say it got more popular 2 years ago, so the information got searched even more, so YouTube was probably pushing it more, therefore the trolls came out. Isn't it weird? I like fish that doesn't taste fishy. If your fish tastes fishy, it's because it's not fresh, right?
I don't know. I've never had that. Well, a fish is supposed to taste like a fish.
Well, it's not supposed to smell, that's for sure. If it's fresh, it's not supposed to smell. But I don't know. I've never. What do you mean by fishy? Not macro, but barre, you're not sure. We can fish them. So that's what you were saying earlier. I think.
Yeah, there's striped bass. I have a coworker that lives on the Quebec side, and they're allowed to go fish the striped bass, but they can't fish with live bait. They have to fly fish or use like a jigger or something.
So no worms.
No worms and no mackerel pieces.
She is 18, almost 19. She has never liked getting dirty. That's okay. My sister's like that. She was a girly. Well, one of my sisters, she's girly. The hair, the nails, the makeup, and only when in her 40s she started enjoying nature. So it could change. Ate 2 pounds of Lake Erie perch last night.
Never had perch.
Is that a fish?
Yeah. I've caught some in Mount Carlton, but back in the days we didn't like those fish. We didn't know what it was. We were looking for trout. We would just throw them back in the water.
I've never eaten a fish that I have fished myself. I was only doing, those catch and release. But I think I have to change that. I have to change that somehow. Don't know how. We don't have that much fish around here.
Any little brook or river will do the job.
They're not deep enough. So I don't think there's fish. Next to my house, there's like this. We call it La Rivière. Anyways, it's full of mud, and every time we go there and we look inside, there's nothing in it. I don't think it's deep enough, but I could be wrong. It could be. Maybe if I go higher,
hiding under a rock or something.
Yeah, but they would probably be too small for us to eat. I mean,
well, the nicest fishing trip I've had when I was younger with my dad and brother We were down a small stream that had maybe like that much water. The water was flowing, like we kept fishing in a current, and that's when we got the biggest trout. So you never know.
But not salty water, regular water.
Yeah.
My mom and grandma were both I'm guessing home ec teachers. By the time I was in high school, it didn't exist. So I guess Ren is close to our age. Our high school has family studies, but it is optional. If you want to take it, they teach cooking, life skills, etc. I think it should be mandatory courses. Well, the fact that you can choose it is a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because let's just say, well, maybe they won't enjoy the two choices of courses and they won't know which one to pick. But the fact that it's there, I find it's really good. It's a good step. I hope they bring it back. Like, I know, like, gym is important. Teaching the kids about sexuality is important, but teaching kids about life and growing food, money, credit cards, taking care of a household is important. I would say as important. How to budget money should be part of school. Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. Like, I talk to kids, they're like in their early 20s and they are in so much debt. They don't know how to get out of it. And they don't even know that there's a way out of it. Like, the banks, when you're in debt, instead of helping you, like giving you a hand and like showing you a way out of it, they show you a way back into it, which is sad because in your 30s, you want to buy a house and you're like already up to here and not knowing how to get out of it. Crochet is my therapy. It's my winter therapy. My summer therapy is outside in the garden. Especially the jumbo iri perch. That's the fish he's talking about. Just teach them how to put a button back on. Yes.
I still have to ask my girlfriend to do it, or my mom.
Like, I remember how to put a button on. My mom taught me when I was so young. But it's probably not like the best way, but at least I know how to put it back on. Jack Fresh of the boat from Kingsville, Ontario. I don't know what that is.
The fish.
Oh, the fish. Okay, I know probably the fish, all the names in French. I don't know them in English. So.
Well, Jack is Ren's homestead.
Oh, okay.
So he's telling Jack that he ate them fresh off the boat.
So Dave has the same haircut as you.
Hey, haircut brothers.
It's a short, at least you won't be warm. You won't be hot.
Yeah. Well, I do it in the winter anyway.
Oh, you must be cold. You must be cold when that happens.
I'm never really cold.
I've been salt and pepper, mostly salt color hair since I was like 28 years old. Don't sweat those unseemable little grays. I know. Well, my husband was the same thing when he was 18, so I met him. When I met him, he was in his early 30s, and he was already, there was no more like color. It was only salt and pepper. I've never known him with his natural hair color. Maybe Elon Musk will buy YouTube like he did Twitter. That would end a lot of the problems. Dun, dun, dun. We shall see. We shall see. I am taking a beef tomorrow to the butcher. Is this your first time bringing
No, he has a lot of meat, so I'm guessing he does it pretty often. I think.
Hello, Ecocentric Homestead. So pink salmon does not taste fishy, for instance. Okay.
Yeah, the Atlantic salmon is probably the best, and it's almost extinct now, so we can't have it. You might, if you ever have a chance to try striped bass, it is a pretty good fish too.
I don't know where the salmon I purchased comes from. I think it comes from Alaska, because I buy the Costco one, the frozen one.
Okay. Usually, when it's in a store in our area, it's usually the Pacific salmon.
I'm trying to remember. Like, I buy two brands at Costco. One is from Alaska,
Could be.
but it's frozen. I don't buy fresh fish, sadly, because to feed my family on fresh fish would be ridiculous. I would actually pay less going to McDonald's. I can't believe I just said that. If I sit my family down with a fresh fillet of fish, it's going to cost me less to bring them to McDonald's.
Yeah, it's so expensive nowadays.
It's
It's insane.
it blows my mind that I have to buy it frozen for us to actually benefit from all the like the nutrient value of the fish, the omegas and all of that. But like if it was just me and my husband, it would be like a splurge. But when my kids enjoy fish, so they want more and more and more and more. So
That's why you have to start fishing again.
yes, well I keep telling my daughter I have to move closer to Quebec City to be closer to the salt waters. And she's like, no! But maybe one day. Some fish will have a more mild flavor, but sometimes tastes strongly. It's because it's not too fresh. Perch is so good. Beer, batter, and butter. Anything is good in beer and batter. I don't think you can go wrong with beer and batter. I don't think so. Fried perch and out of this world delicious.
I have to try that.
Brook trout. Brook trout can live in very shallow. Hand out debts like candy at 18. I know. Budgeting is super important. Like, I only started, and I'm not ashamed saying this because you guys, you know the good, the bad, and ugly of my life. Well, most of it. I started budgeting a year before I got my house. Like, seriously, budgeting. So that means 6 years ago, someone sat down with me and explained to me, these are your credit cards. This is your cart payment. This is how credit works. 6 years ago, I was in my early 30s, and the guy told me if I practice what he's told me when I started out of college or CJEPT, I would have been able to buy a house by age 25. I was renting until we were married. I was rented, and then so this is our first house that we've bought. So I would have had a house 10 years ago if I would have followed his budgeting. So if we have young kids and we can teach them about debt and budgeting when they're out of high school, we would be giving them a gift that's priceless. I didn't finish this comment. If budgeting was in school, I'd likely forget most of what's taught right after the test. Like, I don't think so. Because when you are going to be on your own in your apartment, the first couple of months, you're probably going to go, right, I need to go back to either YouTube or Google or something to revive those skills that you've learned in school. I kind of like being called Jack Fresh. That's a nice name. When I took computer in school, I was on the punch card and stored on magnetic tape. I don't know what that is. Is that like a disc?
I remember those big floppy disks, about that big.
Yeah, those big. Those I had those. My dad used to have apples, like the first apples that it was available for consumers. Their discs were huge.
Yeah, I remember when I was in middle school, 95 or 96, I came home and I remember telling my mom, "Mom, you know what? Today I was on something called the internet. And I was actually looking at documents from Sweden." I'm like, that was insane.
Yeah,
And
and
that's
to think,
what, like 30 years, not even 30 years ago. Like it's crazy.
not to think, everything we're saying now is Google this, Google that, Google this, Google that, YouTube this, YouTube that.
And we're
All
talking
these,
face to face while living about 8 hours away from each other. That's
more than that. I think we're like 16 hours away, 12 to
not,
16. My
not that.
sister is 12 hours away, and you're further than my sister.
7, 8 hours from Montreal.
How much?
7 to 8, depending. If I don't stop, easily 7.
Okay, well, I'm talking about the stops, the PP breaks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So an 8-hour trip would probably take you 11 hours, 10 hours. Like, you have to stop because you're going to lose your mind.
Yeah, well, I went to Montreal a few times, and it's usually like we'll stop to put gas, we'll grab a snack, 30 minutes, and then we're on our way.
I'm downtown Montreal. I'm an hour and a half from downtown Montreal.
Okay, so I could make it to your place in less than 10 hours.
If you don't stop.
I'm used to drive long distances.
Well,
so
men are lucky. You can stop on the side of the road and like relieve yourself and then continue if you bring your lunch. Us women, it's a little bit more complicated, and I guess I'm not that open to go in on the side of the road. But
there's a few stops on the way too, though. Like you can just stop, grab
All right.
a bottle of water, and
yeah, well, now they have more those right off of the highway stops, and like there's like a bathroom, so your stops are not that long.
mhm.
No, have done about 20 now, over 3 years. So I think he's talking about the beef.
Yep.
Nice. And how much beef do you have from that carcass? Like in pounds, if you remember. My great-grandfather was a salmon fisherman in New Brunswick.
Yep. And now all salmon fishing, I think, at least in New Brunswick, it's no longer legal. Like you can fish them and catch and release, but you can't keep them unless it's landlocked salmon.
Okay.
Which is crazy because I live like 10 minutes away from the Restigouche River. On my side, I'm not allowed to keep them. I could buy my non-resident license on the Quebec side and keep them. Go figure.
There's some logistics that you did. It's better for you not to understand.
Yeah.
I sell about 75% and keep 25% for us. So you're paying your meat by selling 75%. That's a question.
Yes, Dave has a question. I'm just saying, yes, I will be there to the conference.
Did I miss that?
No, it's way down.
Okay.
Like we're
It's
far behind.
Atlantic salmon, but mostly from salmon farms. When my grandmother was growing up, she would take salmon and lobster to school because my grandfather did that for a living. Nice. They were teased terribly because it meant you're poor. Lobsters is like $10 a pound here. I don't understand why they say he was poor.
Higher than that now. If you get lobster at $10 a pound, let me know.
Yes, last year in like my birthday is like around lobster season here. And for me to eat lobster, I'm the only one eating it. We buy 2 lobsters and it's 11 or between 10 and 12 pounds, $12 a pound. And my husband buys a pound and 3/4. So lobster being poor, not anymore. Today, lobsters is for the rich, and it's my favorite meal. Like, I could sit down and eat every single leg, everything of the lobster with a little bit of a garlic butter.
Every year for as long as I can remember, my dad will go and buy lobster for the whole family for Mother's Day. So he gets at least 2 for like my mom, himself, me, my brother. And now that we have a family, well, he buys some. It must cost him a fortune, but
it depends. If he goes, gets them at the docks.
Yeah, I think that's what he does.
Because if you go directly at the dock and somewhere like if the fisherman's allowed to sell it, you would get it at a good price. I remember when I was in New Brunswick, next to Bidefandi, I wanted to bring a lobster to eat for dinner, and the boat arrives, and there is a shop right next to the docks, and they sell their lobster there. So I was able to cut down some of the cost instead of them selling it to somewhere else, and then the trip, the gas, and all that. And I saw a huge. I remember like he was huge. Wait, I'll remove the bubble here. The one paw, the big paw, was this big. The guy told me it was about 15 pounds lobster.
Wow, nice.
It was a male. And I'm like, did you sell it? He's like, yeah, someone from Montreal paid for it and flew it. So he's putting it into a plane on ice and shipping it to Montreal. A 15-pound lobster. That must have cost the person like a mother-load.
Well, sometimes they're restaurant owners, and they want to have fresh lobster, so that's the best way for them to get them.
Of course, but a 15-pound lobster.
Yeah, but he's probably selling it for like just a little, like fish, like lobster cake or something like that for like $30 maybe.
Yeah, it's true. Time has changed. Now lobster is only for the rich. Tracy controls data Institute. If you are old, you will remember this. So I'm guess this is for Tracy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not for us. In high school, we learned on. I don't know what this is. In high school, we learned on the cutting edge TRs 80s. I don't know what that is.
We're not that old.
Sorry. Don't know. I would love to comment, but can't. I hate long roads. We do not stop other than gas. Remi, coming to Ontario, I might come to Landmark. 8-hour drive for me.
I think pretty much everyone will be there. Yep, definitely going.
Back then, lobster was poor man's food. I can't believe it.
It's insane.
Casino Nova Scotia for lobster was the best deal when I was there. I was hoping to go on the 7th, but I have so many things to do this week. A lot with the gardens and meat birds coming this week. I just don't think I will be able to make it.
That's too bad, but I understand.
Okay, we kind of got sidetracked. Do you want to talk about some of the challenges that you have homesteading with kids?
For me, I mean the kids, like I have good kids, so they're not. If I tell them I'm filming for YouTube and that I want to do something, they usually tend to go away and leave me do my things. When time comes for the garden and stuff, same thing. They don't really. If they don't want to get involved, they won't get in my way. So I'm kind of lucky in that way.
Yes, you are.
I mean, challenges. I guess it's more like to get them to be involved. I would like them to be more involved. But like I said earlier, what they do, I mean, I can't ask them more. Like they want to go out and play. They want to go play with friends. They want to do their things. Just the fact that they like you said, like the 3 youngest are in Chedwar's junior division. So to me, that's like, wow. I got them some shirts, and they got here today. I have mine with my logo.
I saw that one. I saw your Chedwar's also.
Yeah, and the kids have one similar to mine. It has a gold logo in front, and it says Chedwar's 22 Junior in the back with the hashtag, nice. And they have their first name on the shoulder, on the sleeve. So, they'll be able to go to school with those shirts and show off to their friends. And lately, like I was, I'm getting sidetracked again, but I was interviewed for the radio station, the local radio station, and so many people talking about it now. Around me, like people keep telling me, "Hey, I heard you on the radio. Like that's pretty cool. I saw your post on the internet. That was pretty cool." So I'm hoping that those people will like feel the wave and get
Is it a
involved.
community newspaper you were in?
It's the radio station, the local radio station.
But you sent me an article.
Yeah, they post some stuff, but it was mostly like you would have the audio interview, like the little audio parts.
Okay. So what you sent me, it was the written version of the audio.
Yeah, they
Okay.
have those little blogs that they do as well.
So you're
But you
now superstar.
know, well, really, I'm really not at all. But I'm just hoping, if I can influence a few people to start gardening. It it all comes from from the top, like if there's a lot of people interested in homesteading, gardening, and stuff like that, chances are we're gonna have more kids at the end. Back in the days, everyone was doing it, and somehow it got lost along the way. But I like to think that um, if we are talked about enough, like I said, the kids are competitive by nature. They want to be out there. They want people to see them. They want to be heard. They want to be seen. If people talk about, in this instance, I'm talking about shit wars, but even if it's gardening in general, if people talk about gardening, the kids want to be, hey, I'm just 8 years old, but I'm gardening too. Like they want to be there. They want to kind of like kids want to show off. They want to be there. They want to show the people that they can do. They want to. I don't know if you get what I mean, but
Yes.
if we talk about it more, they're gonna get more involved and they're gonna get more
Well, it's certainly going to
interested.
make waves. It's going to create
Uh,
ripples. It's going to be a river of ripples and
that's what
a
I'm
lot of
hoping.
echoes. And it might not be now, but it could wake up some passion later on down the road.
Yeah.
And I know that. Well, this is my personal opinion. We lost track of the homesteading lifestyle because we wanted it to be easier. Working the land, everyone think it's a romantic dream. You're outside on Instagram, you see all these wonderful pictures, there's no struggles, they never show the ugly and they only show the pretty. They never talk about the cold hard truth of sometimes losing a whole crop to pest. And people left the land because of all the struggles. They
Hmm.
wanted an easier way out. And it kind of gets addictive. Like, we're going to do this because it's going to make it easier. We're going to do this because it's going to make it easier. And the more you add to that, well, if you do plus one, plus one, plus one, it's the lifestyle that practically everyone is living right now. Like, we have a smaller home to make it easier on ourselves. We have smaller land because we don't want to spend the weekend cutting grass.
Hmm.
Like, it goes on and on and on and on. Like, instead of baking a bread, we buy it at the store. Instead of, like, it goes on. So our kids, after generations of being away from the land, it's the only thing they know. The only thing they know is what's going on now. Since we're the black sheep and we're different, well, we're kind of the black sheep. We're not like following everyone else. We're doing it differently. So that's why we say I'm the black sheep. Well, then when my kids talk to their to other kids, well, we're different. Oh, my mom doesn't do that. My mom doesn't grow food. Or my mom doesn't do this. My mom doesn't do that. Or my dad doesn't do that. So our kids are kind of
Be right back.
questioning. I'm sorry?
I'll be right back.
Okay. So I find that my kids are like questioning, is this normal? I will read the comments until Remi comes back. Okay, I went a little bit too up. Hello, Patrick. My kids find me annoying with all that, but I keep doing it anyways. I think my kids also find me annoying. I think so too. because I keep telling them, oh, I need to do this in the garden. I need to do that in the garden. Oh, I need to go pick flowers or if you have enough kids, you only have to do chores once a week. Yeah, sure, why not? It was the weird one. I was the weird one gardening and birding as a kid. It's fun to be special as a kid, but not special alone. I agree. My dad couldn't pay me to help in the garden. Now I spend as much time as I can in the garden. I'm gardening to make it easier. Sorry, I got sidetracked. My phone rang. Do you guys experience challenges with your kids? Oh, he's back.
Sorry.
Hello, little house in the big woods. Okay, let's see if my memory is correct. Melissa?
Yeah.
Yay! Yes, it was the Bone song. My phone rang as you were gone. My father was calling me, and it's the Bone soundtrack. It was like before, it was one of my favorite shows to watch, and I never changed it. Yes, but it's a good problem. She's super independent, which is convenience once we get it figured out. Well, yeah, I guess so. He loves Bones too. I find that my biggest challenge, I started when my youngest was 9 months old. No, he was a little bit over a year when I started. So he would never sit down next to me. And when I would put him down next to me, he would be like running off and decapitating some of my plants. And like he was like a year old, so he didn't really know what he was doing. So I had to find time when he was sleeping or when he was in daycare. So that was a challenge for me, but I found a way to make it work. But it also means that when everyone was to sleep or in bed, I was in the garden. And now, like year after year, the challenges are similar, but they're evolving a little bit more. My two oldest this year, for the first time, up potted peppers and tomatoes with me.
Nice.
This was a first. I was a little bit skeptical at first because the last time they helped me, the two of them were in competition. They wanted to bury the tomato plant faster than the other. And you can guess what happened. Some of my pepper plants, some of my tomato plants died because of it. So I want them to learn, but I also want to teach them that if they kill a plant, it's food that we will not have.
Mm-hmm.
So I always make sure to sow more so that if they show interest and they do kill some, or some of them struggles because of their little hands making a little mistake, like I have enough. But this year I had no casualties, and they helped me up pot, I think it was 7 trays of 18. So I kind of put an X on the calendar this year. And another thing that they're doing is they don't want to do it, but I tell them, if you want to have fresh snacks in the garden, you have to help me empty the greenhouse every night for me to close it up. Because I have 8 trays in the greenhouse that I put in the morning, and then the 8 trays go back inside the house. And at first I was doing it all by myself, but it's like I go down the steps, get a tray, go back into the house. It would take me about 15 to 30 minutes to close out the high tunnel. So by them helping me, it takes me 15 minutes, and I'm able to spend time with them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that this new interest stays, because I don't get help from them at all. They don't help me preserve. They don't help me harvesting.
Well, they help
My,
eating.
I'm sorry?
They help with eating.
Oh yes, for sure. And they bring their friends. They bring their friends. Oh, come on, come on, come on. My mom has snacks. And then, well, now they ask, but before, when you plan on eating snap peas, in like, okay, I feel like eating sauteed snap peas with butter and garlic, and you can almost taste them. And you go in the garden and there's no more snap peas. And then you see the kids with their mouths full
As long
eating
as they
them.
don't waste it, I mean, it's not fun, but
No, like, I wasn't angry. It's just when you plant, it's like when you want to eat that piece of chocolate, and like
yeah,
you can almost taste it, you can almost see it, you can almost touch it, and then you go and your spouse ate the piece of chocolate that you've been daydreaming about. So it's like kind of a little bitter taste, but I'm happy that they're eating it, because that means instead of eating
yeah,
some garbage,
they're
they're
eating.
eating good snacks.
Mhm.
Hello, and I'm guessing it's Angie, but
Hi,
if Mike
Andy.
is there,
And my
hello, Mike. Uh, what are your challenges, Melissa? Oh, it's under. They don't like schoolwork. They rather be outside. Okay.
that's a good challenge to have, though.
It's a good problem to have, but if they have a hard time in school, it might be a hard problem. My biggest challenge is my 27-year-old autistic son. He is nonverbal and full care, but can't be without supervision. That can be a challenge. Do you bring him outside with you when you work in a garden? Lindsay Lindsay scrambled to get her phone to comment about bones, and now everyone is confused about who's saying what. Okay, so my phone rang and my ringer is Bones. The intro of that TV show. I used to watch that, back to back to back to back, like till midnight with my husband. And what else did we watch? NCIS. We used to watch that like crazy before we had kids. We always got to find a way to get better at chores for sure and get them to participate. Well, if now this year I kind of abandoned that dream of my kids like always following me and always like doing the chores, like maybe being in love with chores. So this year I'm actually looking into making my waterer automatic and my feeder automatic, so that I just have to go in the morning, and if there's a problem, to fill it. If there's not a problem, all I have to do is just check that everyone's there, and to make it easier on myself. But if my kids do show interest in those chores by being automatic after, because it's like technology, they enjoy technology, they will probably fill the big containers of 50 pounds of food. Well, that's what I'm crossing my fingers. We never know who's chatting anyway. That's not for me. Sadly, the challenge here is to interest my oldest son to go outside.
He's probably on his electronics. I think you should like one thing I would try. I'm not saying that I know better than anyone, but you can always start by telling him, "Let's go sit on the porch or on the balcony. Play your video games there. Just go get some sun." And then once they're outside, they might start loving it because the air is fresh, the sun is there. That's a good way to start them going out a little bit more. And then you see the kids playing, and they're okay. Well, I'm gonna try that and put the phones away, and you never know.
I don't have that situation. I actually have to yell at them to come inside. Like they come for lunch, and they're like, "Mama, I want to eat on the porch. I want to eat with my friends." So I make a sandwich. Like they give me a kiss. They bring the sandwich. They're out, and then they go with their friends. They eat, and then they bring me their plate, and then they go back. And when it's dinner time in the summer, when school is finished, I have to go get them because they don't want to come inside. So I'm really thankful, and I'm gonna celebrate that blessing because I'm happy I don't have that as a challenge. It's usually me if you see capitalized letters, question thing, haha.
And it was you. Is it Jack or Lindsay?
Okay, so Lindsay, this is Lindsay talking. I'm just finishing a full rewatch of Bones. Nice. I have to catch up. Last time I watched Bones, it was the full season after they got married. After that, I stopped. I'm probably like 4 or 5 seasons behind. Yes, I do. When weather is good, I do bring him out. My kids follow me everywhere, everywhere too. Little shadows. Mike and Angie, hi. Okay, that's not for me. This is for you. They do shop class, and I teach them to build things. Nice. Room for garden. I'm not sure.
An answer for Angie.
Okay. Jack Fresh. It's usually me who's typing. Thank you for telling us that it's you. Is there any Bones fan in
I
the
haven't
comments?
watched it yet. No, I
Well,
I have a
Bones,
few seasons downloaded.
it's an interesting, fun. I kind of got hooked because of I would say because of the actors. I wasn't even paying attention to the murder solving at all. It was just their life that they were. It's easily to be attached to them. Same thing as NCIS, and then one main character left, and I stopped watching because like I love that character so much, and I tried to watch it after it just didn't work because I didn't like the flavor of the show, so I stopped.
That's often what happens. Like I was watching Walking Dead, and once Rick left,
I don't know
I
that
haven't
one.
watched a single episode yet.
I don't know that one.
The Walking Dead.
No, I don't. I know the name, but I haven't watched it. So I'm guessing Marilyn is also a fan. Actually, our daughter is super interested in skeleton now, which is cool. Yeah. Well, I also like the teaching of life. There was a lot of like moral stories and family stories, struggles. They made it so real. So it's like if you were watching a vlog of a investigator. That's what it was. Like you
Cool.
kind of you were attached to them. And there's another one that I liked. It was something. It was on an island, NCIS, Hawaii. But then life happened, and I stopped watching it. I love the science in the show. Don't know how much of it was true, but bugs, science, skeleton science. And that's another thing. Like, we don't know if what they're saying is an actual truth, but like, it was super interesting to learn. That's not for me. So it is magical hour for me. So if you guys have questions or you want to say something, I will read you. And I haven't talked about it in a while, but the stickers are still available on my shop. I have like 8 or 9 that are available. I'm still working on the stickers. These are the 2 that I have. I don't think I have another one with me. No, I don't. It's on my other book. But in the description of this video, if you want to go check out the stickers, my sticker shop, it's down there. And Marilyn, congratulations! 100 subs. Celebrate that victory. Every milestone is a big milestone. Anyone else has a YouTube channel and celebrating a milestone? You're close to one, right?
I'm close to 2,000. I'm at 1902, I think, right now.
Ooh.
Keep going up and down. I go up one, I get down one, and then suddenly it just goes up.
Yeah, they like bugging us. Up,
It's
down,
weird.
up, down,
It's
up,
weird
down.
the way it works.
So
Let me see.
2K. That's a big number.
Oh, yes. That'd be
Beep, beep, amazing.
Yeah, 1903 right now. And the fun thing is, like, all my numbers are up. Like, my views in the last 28 days are 4.1K.
Well, you had a blog and you had an interview, so people will go and listen and watch, and it was good for you.
Exactly.
Angie says we are super close to 1,700. Nice.
And you guys haven't posted for a few weeks, I think.
They had one video. One video was out.
Yeah, they posted two lately, but I mean there was a little while where they didn't post as much. They weren't working on the house and they weren't doing much work around.
It's true.
So once they start at it again, I mean the last video they made hit like I don't know how many views, like 1.4K or.
That was a nice video. I'm digging my root cellar bunker. I saw that. That will be my first video. I wish I had Ren's drone. So Patrick, you're new to YouTube, but you post a lot on Instagram. This is for you. How long did it take you to get there, Angie and Remi?
For me, it was about I like to say 2 years because I started YouTube exactly 2 years ago, but I wasn't fully invested until like maybe end of July, start of August 2020. So it's like 1 year and a half, maybe 2 years.
Angie, I think it's also the same thing. Angie, how long has it been when you started? I'm at 560, I think it's 61 this morning. 562. Went up one. And it's been a year in March, so a little bit over a year. So Angie says similar to Remi. 3 years ago this month, but on and off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is her answer to you. 2 videos in April because Mike went to Michigan. Then he had to quarantine for 2 weeks. He will be free tonight. Woohoo! So tomorrow night is your Monday Night Live.
Yeah, that's right.
We're Sunday, so.
Yep.
So Patrick, are you on the fence for publishing your first video of YouTube?
He has a few shorts. I saw a few ones. And the thing is, he's already almost at 2,000 subscribers.
Patrick?
Yep.
Well, nice.
You had a video of one of his friends, if I'm not mistaken, singing a song, and it got him right up there.
Nice. That's nice.
So I don't know how much of those people are going to watch his new stuff, but he's got a few followers from us here. So
okay, so Patrick, if publish this video, seriously, people are looking into preserving, different ways of preserving, and you can hit those scores pretty fast if you still have 2Ks that are active. Like when I started, I had 1 or 2 views on my videos, and I had 100 hours, like I think in 6 months. So I had like most of us have like a rough start, but if you're graced and you have 2K's followers, go for it. Go with the wave. And they have internet now. Woohoo!
They're gonna be more available now.
I started in earliest January 2021, and I think that Tracy is close to 500. I think so. He was at
Yeah,
410 last week.
400. Yeah, it's going up. It's going up.
Your root cellar is cool. Wait, what is your channel? Can one of the I think Marilyn posted it for us. And I'm gonna click on it. Can I click on I don't think I can click on this. No, I can't.
You can on if you're on YouTube. If you have,
if I open YouTube, you guys are gonna hear an echo. Woohoo! 414 for Tracy. So
Cool.
4 more this week.
Awesome.
Awesome. So 500 by midsummer for you. That'd be amazing. You're gonna have your community tab. Anyone else celebrating a milestone? Remi was our 9th subscriber. Woohoo!
The funny thing about Rans is I saw them like a few times on Hickorycroft live streams, and I didn't even know they were living in New Brunswick. And then at some point they said it, and I'm like, "You guys are in New Brunswick. You have a channel, and I haven't seen it yet." Like, okay, like I'm right away a follower. And when I looked at their first few videos, I don't know, like you see some people that have like it seems easy for them. I really love how they make, like everyone is at a different skill level, but for like them, they have something like someday they're gonna be famous on YouTube. I have no doubt.
It's the love language. Some people have a different love language. Our last 2 videos did better than almost all my videos. YouTube liked them, I guess. Well, there's a difference because those 2 videos you made, Angie, you spoke from a like deep down passion, like you gave all of yourself to your viewers, and the people felt it. They felt the emotion. So it tells you that sometimes you don't have to look at the analytics, and you just have to do what makes you passionate.
And Mike wasn't in one of them, so Mike, just kidding.
You little. Thank you. I will be doing something with the root cellar, but I want to make sure I can keep doing it. You guys are such a great source of info. And wait, having a hard time reading tonight. Such a great source of info. It would be the building of I need to learn. Okay, we all started somewhere. I was not tech savvy at all. The first videos I did, like the way I was holding my phone was horrible.
Yeah.
The only way for us to get better is for us to fail. I know this sounds crazy, but if you fail, you're gonna and you're passionate about sharing this, you're gonna find a way to make it work for you. And it does not have to be perfect. It just has to be you. That's every time someone tells me they want to start a YouTube channel, they tell me, "Oh, I don't have the right phone. I don't have a camera. I don't have the right equipment. I don't have a microphone." You don't need it. You just need yourself, your words, and your passion, and film yourself, and you're going to figure it out. You're going to watch yourself. You're not going to like something. You're going to switch it up, change the flavor a little bit from video to video. And 1 year down the road, you're going to see that you're actually growing in that journey as a person, as a content creator, as just as a person. So don't think that you don't have anything to share, because you do. You welcome, Angie. No worries for the Lindsay. Remi, thank you. Honestly, I think the biggest thing is that we have a lot of time to devote to it.
But you have filming and editing skills for sure.
So we have one that says, just plant it, just do it, just press record.
Just do it. Just do it like Nike.
Just do it. Our first videos were lives and iMovie video. Okay. It's okay, Remi. He's got a headset on, playing a game with his buddies.
He's probably playing Dungeons and Dragons.
I remember that game when I was in college.
I never had a chance to play in my.
I never play it. If you want to see something funny, watch me play a game. I have no coordination. It's funnier watching me trying to play than playing. Yes, if you press record and get the footage, that's half of the battle. You don't have to post it right. Okay, that's not for me. So, Patrick, one last thing I'm going to tell you. Root sellers are in right now. I know that Marilyn is just made a video about root sellers, and her video was a hit. So don't try to overthink it. Just make it simple. And if you film it, you edit it, you don't like it, you don't owe us anything. It's going to be footage for you to see how you made it. And if one day you feel comfortable, you can share it.
And we're going to watch it anyway.
Yeah.
I am.
Right, mine, I tried to keep the kids out of the videos. I try to do that too. Your next roundtable should be a
D&D game.
I don't know what that is.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay. Press record. Got it. Okay, so now I'm hearing my kids and I'm hearing my husband calling me. So I'm going to tell you guys to have a nice week. Thanks for passing by. Thanks, Remi, for chatting with us. And take care, everyone. Bye.
Take care, everyone.